just start I just want to share some pictures
Please.
with you all. So I'll just, like I said, I'll tell you a story. So I'll make it actually मैं उसको story जैसी कर देता हूँ. Once upon a time, I would say there was I would say dashing couple, and उनके दो बच्चे थे. मतलब they had two sons, and I think they had wished for a daughter. मतलब उनका I think सोचना ये था कि second वाली जो है या वाला जो है वो लड़की होता. But जैसा होता है कि ईश्वर had of course other plans for the family जो बाद में naturally पता चला. But then as I said, I have a wonderful family. So I'm just sharing some pictures from the past. मतलब हमारी पुरानी कुछ photographs हैं. Because contrary to what a lot of people think, I was born with hands, and I had a very, I would say, बहुत अच्छा बचपन था. मतलब it was a जैसा खेलते हुए, and as you can tell कि शक्ल से दिखता था कि काफी हम मतलब I was very sort of mischievous, and I'd like to experiment, and I don't know, I've always had a fascination for hats. So I think this picture really epitomizes that. And as I said, I'm talking about the early 70s. ये सब photographs जो हैं जो मैं share कर रहा हूँ ये हमारे you can say early 70s की हैं. Of course, that's my elder brother साथ में मेरे विवेक और me on the right. And of course, this is again my wonderful family. Of course, that's my father जो मेरे साथ है और भाई के साथ है. Then, so anyhow, so this picture probably I would say one of the आखिरी photograph होगी where I'm with my family, and I have my hands, and everything is like I said, सब जैसे होता है ना कि सब अच्छा जीवन खुशी चल रहा था. And literally जैसे बोलते हैं ना कि एक झटके में मतलब literally in a like a shock, एक झटके में जो life है that totally turned around for us. I mean, not turned around, I would say just took a different direction. हम लोग I met with an electrical accident at the age of 7. हम लोग शाम को my mother, मेरे बड़े भाई और मैं किसी के घर गए थे उनसे मिलने, और उनके छत के ऊपर से there was this high tension wire that was going across, and somehow खेलते खेलते I came in contact with the electrical wire, and both my hands then had to be amputated, and I spent almost, you could say, 3 months in the hospital recovering from the from the surgery and of course the treatment that I had undergone. But मुझे अभी भी it's very clear in my mind, because I remember जब I regained my consciousness after the operation, जब मैं होश में आया तो मेरी mother जो थी वो मेरे पलंग के साइड में बैठी थी, and she's always been the calming factor. मतलब मैं बोलूँगा कि अगर मेरी I owe everything to my family, and especially to मेरी माता जी थी, my mother, because she was the real pillar of strength. मतलब had it not been for her, I think things could have turned out really, I would say, probably badly for me. Especially. So I remember that she was, sitting beside me, and बहुत अच्छा उन्हें हमेशा एक मेरे आसपास जैसे बोलते हैं एक माहौल अच्छा पॉजिटिव माहौल बना कर रखा था. I never saw them like crying या बहुत कोई जैसे होता है ना melodrama कि अब क्या होगा, जीवन खत्म हो गया. That typical जो one can imagine कि if you have a son, मतलब आपका अगर 7 साल का बेटा के साथ ऐसा एक्सीडेंट हो जाए कि दोनों हाथ काटने पड़ जाए, तो one can imagine कि what the parents must have gone. मतलब मुझे तो actually देखा जाए तो I did not actually, मुझे तो पता भी नहीं चला कि हुआ क्या था. But they really, I would say, took it up as a challenge. मतलब देखा जाए तो they did not panic. मतलब they actually, let's say, they didn't give up on me, and for that I'm very grateful. And I would like to share with जो हमारे खासकर young parents हैं, two things that कोई भी एक I think माँ बाप जो है parents हैं जो अपने बेटे को या अपने बच्चे को दे सकते हैं, वो एक होता है एक तो love और दूसरा होता है उम्मीद, hope. Because my mother said कि भाई don't worry, whether this was necessary, तुम्हारे हाथ काटना जरूरी थे because gangrene had set in. and नहीं काटते तो फिर the poison would have spread in your body. So they very calmly she told me this and said कि don't worry, जो भी future में जैसा भी होगा, we'll face it together. So I think for a child that is more than sufficient. I don't think उस समय कोई बहुत ज्यादा कोई ज्ञान या कोई knowledge की जरूरत है. If the parents say कि सब अच्छा हो जाएगा, I think for a child that is the best thing he can hear. And then of course they didn't really, जैसे आपको बताया ना कि they didn't take it as a like they didn't like go into a depression or they didn't क्या बोले मतलब they didn't get stressed out about it. अभी मैंने जैसे कहीं पढ़ा था कि भाई depression happens when you can't see a future for yourself. So I guess in their case they were very मतलब determined कि भाई अब जो भी विक्रम के साथ हो गया है but इसका future जो है that will be like anybody else's and कोई ऐसा अलग से नहीं होगा. So what I guess what I've learned is that life goes on. मतलब accident के बावजूद I would say it did not come to an end. It was just that एक नया मोड़ आ गया था जीवन में and naturally we had to you can say think out of the box and कुछ नई we had to make new strategies, new planning, new goals because obviously life had changed literally forever. So I suppose if you I mean, there's a quote by Viktor Frankl that when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. We must accept and acknowledge कि भाई अब जीवन में जैसे बताओ बदलाव आ रहा है या आ गया है, and we must adopt that change and work accordingly. So I guess we were able to do that quite successfully. And my mother again would tell me that भाई you can achieve anything. मतलब तुम कुछ भी कर सकते हो as long as you believe in yourself. The biggest thing standing between say success and you is yourself. So it's your basically your I would say hard work, your determination that will actually decide. तो ये मेरे दिमाग में मतलब उन्होंने literally बचपन से डाल दिया था. The other thing that was put in my head was that disability जो है वो एक state of mind. It has nothing to do with the physical attribute. मतलब आपके हाथ नहीं है या पैर नहीं है. That is not as important as the attitude and the approach you have towards life. मतलब life is something that you literally create. It's not something you will even discover. So you need to have the right attitude in life. You need to have the right perspective in life. It's literally life is it's a perception. It's how you perceive that is very important. And self-confidence, as I said, is sort of the starting point, the key to success. So again, I'm just sharing certain things that my parents, I would say, that I learned from my parents. And then I don't know, I don't know whether a video was played or not, but I am a pretty adept swimmer. मैं swimming बहुत अच्छी करता हूँ. And you'll be surprised to know that जब मेरे accident के पहले तक मैंने कभी swimming करी ही नहीं थी भाई. मतलब it's only after the accident that suddenly my parents literally धक्का देके मतलब उन्होंने जबरदस्ती मेरे को swimming lessons के लिए भेज दिया. Now for a lot of people that was a very, I mean at that point very मतलब very risky, very even naive idea कि भाई तुम क्या मतलब कहाँ भेज रहे हो. But they felt like that I should to regain the confidence that I had lost obviously and my physical strength. मतलब naturally जब आप 3 महीने हॉस्पिटल में रहते हैं ना तो आपके सारे मसल्स जो है वो सब वीक हो जाते हैं. तो sort of like an all round you can say जो rehabilitation है उस point of view से they insisted that you go and play. जो बाकी सब बच्चे कर रहे हैं you must continue to do that. मतलब चाहे इनफैक्ट स्विमिंग कोई करे ना करे तुम तो स्विमिंग सीखने जा रहे हो. तो हम भाई ठीक है हमने कहा ठीक है अब चले जाते मतलब व्हाट कैन आई से. So I started learning swimming. Then of course सोसाइटी के बच्चों के साथ मैं स्केटिंग भी करने लगा, फुटबॉल खेलने लगा. So in a way that was not just my एक प्रकार से it gave me a lot of physical strength, it gave me a lot of mental strength, but also I would call that it gave me a lot of purpose in life at that point. Literally a purpose to live. You need something in your life that gives you enjoyment. Naturally वो सबसे important है कि भाई आप जो भी कर रहे हैं आप उसको enjoy करें. And साथ साथ वो फिर एक प्रकार से आपका you can say मकसद बन जाता है जीवन। So I think that has stuck with me because since childhood I've been involved in several extracurricular activities. I think I'm more of man of action than words. मैं ज़्यादातर बहुत सारे physical activities में regularly participate करता हूँ. So I guess it is important that we have some kind of एक मकसद होना चाहिए जीवन में. You can't just go through life without a purpose. Then the other thing I feel that I was, why I tried out so many things and why I succeeded in doing बहुत सारी चीजें is because there was never any pressure on me to succeed only. मतलब even if I failed, as long as I tried, मतलब मैंने अगर कोशिश करी और उसके बाद में even if I did not succeed, even if I failed, my parents कभी मुझसे ऐसा नाराज नहीं होते थे, दुखी नहीं होते थे, because their एक ही उनका लॉजिक था कि भाई तुम कोशिश करो, don't say no outright, मतलब without trying something. It's because sometimes क्या होता है कि जब वो जो fear of failure इतना ज्यादा हम लोग के ऊपर रहता है कि हम लोग we tend to shy away from a lot of things. हम सोचते हैं यार हम what if we fail? So I guess मेरे लिए वो कभी वो एक wasn't a problem नहीं था. I mean even if I tried, I would still get a pat on the back. My parents were happy कि तुमने at least कोशिश करी. And naturally फिर क्या होता है कि आप धीरे-धीरे फिर you find that you start, your percentage of success बढ़ते जाता है. पहले initially you might have failed several times, but अगर आप लगे रहते हैं, कोशिश करते रहते हैं, so you start then I think succeeding. So I think one should obviously not give up and one should not have this, जो डर है कि भाई what if I fail? And of course, I personally believe that I'm very blessed. Obviously, I'm very, very fortunate to be. I've had a great set of parents. मतलब हमारे parents तो I would say बहुत I couldn't have asked for a better set of parents and family. But my teachers, my friends, even I would say society on the whole, they kind of just accepted me as one of their own. मतलब I was never made to feel special also. मतलब मुझे कभी ऐसा कोई special treatment नहीं दिया गया. My parents ने बहुत लड़ाई झगड़ा करके with lot of school management. They said Vikram उसी स्कूल में पढ़ेगा जहाँ मेरे बड़े भाई विवेक जहाँ भी पढ़ेंगे, but he will not go to any special school. So naturally बहुत सारे schools ने reject करा हमारी but then finally I managed to get admission. So I pretty much benefited from that, from being part of the society, and kind of you can say the inclusive part of this society. And of course, so many things that जो मैं कर रहा हूँ या करा है were not my ideas. Frankly speaking, मुझे मेरे दोस्त या मेरी family they put me up. मतलब वो चढ़ा देते हैं literally चने के झाड़ पे कि तुम कर सकते हो. And I somehow, I can't disappoint people. तो फिर वो काम हो भी जाता है. I somehow managed to succeed. I mean, I give you an example like my mother, of course. उनका तो ऐसा था कि उनके हिसाब से मैं सब कर सकता. But I could have been a doctor. I could have been a lawyer. I could have been just about anything because that is what she thought about me. तो वो मुझे कई बार मजाक में बोलती थी कि यार तुम इतना अच्छी बहस करते हो तो तुमको लॉयर होना था, वकील बनना. So actually in 2014, after a gap of almost 23 years of education, I did my MA in 91. In 2014, I got an opportunity to do LLB honors. So my LLB honors joined India, and then 2017 I graduated. So what I'm trying to say is that try to keep a positive influence, आपके आसपास. We need people who are motivated and who motivate others. Rather than having people जो खुद भी नहीं कुछ कर रहे हैं और आपको भी कुछ करने नहीं देते हैं. वो यही कहेंगे कि यार तुमसे नहीं हो पाएगा, तुम्हारे पास की बात नहीं है. It's literally like, things like that. And the other thing that I think we have done, I mean, I've done better than most differently able people, is that I've used my limited resources, to I would say the maximum benefit. मतलब मेरे जैसा अगर हम ये फोकस करते कि भाई मेरे पास हाथ नहीं है तो फिर हम आगे नहीं बढ़ पाते. It was important that we recognize and realize कि भाई पाँव तो है, कंधा है. And of course, nowadays with all the touch phones, I use my nose as a pointer, because naturally touch screen ही करना है. So it is important that rather than always cribbing and crying about कि मेरे पास ये नहीं है या मेरे पास वो होता तो मैं ये कर लेता. I think what we really need to do is focus on what is at our disposal. हमारे पास जो है हमें उसका maximum I would say different उसको मतलब we have to use it to the fullest. So again, just as in I would say sort of in a nutshell, or I learned from my parents that way, of course, you should never give up. You must accept change, face challenges. In fact, whatever I am is because of the challenge. I literally owe everything to the accident. अगर accident नहीं होता, तो शायद मेरा life, मेरा जीवन बहुत ही एक अलग ही I think दिशा में चलता. So life में I think challenges का होना जरूरी है. Or of course, one should not be afraid of failures. And of course, nothing is impossible. So now I'll just come to the one of the most exciting, I would say, phases of my life. जो अभी recent एक development है. तो जैसे खन्ना साहब ने एक शेर सुनाया, तो मैं भी एक शेर अर्ज करना चाहूंगा. कौन कहता है कि आसमां में सुराग नहीं हो सकता, एक पत्थर तो तबीयत से उछालो दोस्तों. So this is the, I would like to dedicate this share to, I would say, I just want to share the screen. I'm not able. I just want to. So again, I'm obviously referring to my, the driving that I took up in 2015. I mean, as of course we are all familiar. Yeah, here we go. So I guess, this is something that is obviously a very recent development. And even for me, it was something that came as a, I would say, pleasant surprise. Even for me, because I never expected to take to it this speed से मैंने इसको take up किया है. मतलब I had never driven. मैंने till the age of 45 मैंने कभी गाड़ी नहीं चलाई. I mean, obviously there were drivers, my friends or somebody or the other would, pick me up या मुझे drop कर देता था. But there were there was I was always sitting in the back seat or in the co-passenger के seat. So I never actually देखा जाए तो मैंने कभी ये सोचा भी नहीं था कि मैं driving कभी करूँगा. But in 2015, well, I decided enough is enough and I should start driving. So driving was not that big a challenge. मेरे लिए driving was not the real challenge. Getting the license to drive, because I was the first naturally person just पैर से कार चलाते हुए जिसको लाइसेंस अगर इशू होना था. So that for me became a bigger challenge. So naturally in 2015 when I applied किया to the RTO, so unfortunately पहले तो मेरी application was rejected. अब उसका सबसे बड़ा I would say कारण ये रहता है कि we try to judge the book by its cover. As I mean simply put, because when people जब लोग मुझे देखते हैं तो naturally उनके जो मन में एक जो I would say बात आती है वो यही है कि भाई ये व्यक्ति तो कुछ कर ही नहीं सकता. मतलब just because हाथ नहीं है तो I mean literally जिसको अपने हिंदी में जैसे पहले हम दिव्यांगों को पहले निशक्त बोलते थे भाई. आजकल जो लेटेस्ट टर्मिनोलॉजी इज ऑफ कोर्स दिव्यांग, जो अभी मोदी जी ने नया वर्ड नोमेनक्लेचर जो कॉइन किया है. बट सबसे पहले निशक्त बोलते थे, which is useless. I mean literally you're useless. So I think that is what people imagine. When they look at a person like me, वो यही सोचते हैं कि यार बेचारा ये तो मतलब लिटरली कुछ कर नहीं सकता है. मतलब एंड forget about ड्राइविंग. मतलब ड्राइविंग तो ऐसी चीज है कि वो तो बहुत अच्छे लोगों से भी नहीं होती, तो ये क्या ड्राइविंग करेंगे. So he obviously rejected me, but then of course I was not ready to accept a no or give up. So मैं तो उनके पीछे पड़ा रहा. And to my again surprise, within 15 months, that's all. I mean 15 महीने में they not only amended the Motor Vehicles Act, but they issued the license, and I obviously then became the first person. And as you can see, I got myself an entry in the Limca Book of Records. So this was of course a beautiful phase. This was, I would say, something that actually मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं था. But literally, I would again I'd like to share that the license was just I would say a medium, एक माध्यम बन गया था मेरे लिए. Because actually देखा जाए बॉस, तो मेरा childhood जो सपना, when I was a kid, I never dreamt of being the first Indian to get a driving license or the first person to initiate मतलब एक संशोधन लाया. ये सब चीजें मेरे दिमाग में नहीं थी. I just wanted to be a car racer. That was my passion बचपन से, and I just felt, and of course कहीं ना कहीं मेरे दिमाग में ये बात कभी आती थी कि यार शायद मैं ये मेरा सपना कभी पूरा नहीं होगा. But again, as I said, dreams do come true. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है, सपने जो हैं वो definitely साकार भी होते हैं. And so in 2017, I got my, you could say, the first opportunity to compete in a car rally. It was a 3-day event, and I don't know how I managed it, but I came first in the amateur category. The pehli rally mein I came first, and then there came the Desert Storm, the 5-day international event. And again, somehow we managed to get a third position, that too in a professional category this time. So the only explanation I think mere paas jo hai, why or how I do so well in car rallies is probably because of, I suppose, I related, I would say I related to life. I somehow feel when you are competing in a rally, car rally, जो सीधे साधे रास्ते पे नहीं चलती. मतलब कार rallies जो होती हैं, they are not on a racing track. It is basically you're driving on literally जो अपनी मतलब गांव में सड़क होती है, कीचड़, literally नदी, नाले, पहाड़, you cross just about all the terrain. So the basic concept is that whatever challenges, whatever hurdles आपकी life में आते हैं, जैसे या रेस में आते हैं, you have no choice but to overcome. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम गाड़ी घुमा के सोचे कि दूसरे रास्ते से निकल जाते हैं. You have to overcome that hurdle at any cost. So naturally, क्योंकि मेरा जो एक होता है ना attitude towards life is that way only कि भाई whatever challenges come my way, I tend to take it like literally head on. I don't beat around the bush, and I just literally go for it. And I'd like to share the thing about dreams. We must all literally dare to dream. Because actually dreams do come true. I'm a living example of that. But at the same time, a dream should be, I think, more inclusive rather than being exclusive. In the sense, it should be about as many people, and the more the better. Because sometimes क्या होता है अगर हम अपने लिए कुछ एक सपना देखते हैं and वो सच भी हो जाए, so sometimes you don't feel literally you don't feel fulfilled. आपको अच्छा ऐसा नहीं लगता कि मैंने बहुत कुछ achieve किया है. So it's very important that our whatever actions, whatever we do, it should be more inclusive than exclusive. In fact, when I was applying for the license, when I was challenging the norms, I wasn't doing it just for myself. I was actually देखा जाए तो मेरा मेन मकसद यही था कि भाई मेरे जैसे और भी सैकड़ों लोग होंगे जिनको लाइसेंस या तो चाहिए होगा या उनको रिजेक्ट कर दिया होगा. So I was literally उनकी तरफ से मैं मतलब, and that actually gives you a lot of strength. When you're fighting with a cause, या फिर आपके पीछे अगर कोई क्या कहें बड़ा ग्रुप है, तो you naturally you're more motivated and you really fight for that. So I'll just take a sip of water. Just please excuse me, 1 second of पानी. Sorry. So anyhow, so basically now I'll quickly basically like to conclude. I mean, the one thing that मैं आपसे actually share करना चाह रहा हूँ, and of course I want your cooperation, is जो एक चीज जिससे मैंने सबसे ज्यादा benefit किया है, वो है inclusion से. मतलब we need to build a more inclusive society. It is not just for the जो दिव्यांग है उसको तो benefit होता ही है, but even जो society को जो बोलते ना हम sensitization वाला जो part है, because जब तक दोनों parties don't come together, तब तक I don't think we can create that kind of a goodwill. अभी unfortunately क्या हो जाता है कि जो दिव्यांग हैं वो भी hesitate करते हैं बाहर आने में. उनको लगता है कि they hesitate, and of course जो infrastructure है वो भी नहीं है for them to even move around. So I think, it's very important that we build a society which is more inclusive than exclusive. Because it just, again, I hope that nothing happens to anyone, but, accidents can happen anytime, होते ही रहते हैं. So it's, sometimes it's not like you're doing others a favor. I mean, you never know, who will benefit from it. And again, I like to just quote Mr. Mahatma Gandhi ji ne jaisa he had said very correctly that the true measurement, of a society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members. How we treat it's not just meant for, I would say, Divyangs. Even somebody who's maybe financially जो थोड़ा मतलब weak है या फिर जो भी है मतलब how we treat that vulnerable member is what actually देखा जाए is a parameter for a society. या अपन how advanced you are. अगर हम बोलते हैं कि भाई हम अब जैसे advanced country हो गए या हम third world नहीं है हम ये हैं तो what are the parameters? उसमें सबसे बड़ा parameter is how we treat the vulnerable members of our society. So inclusion, that way is critical. At workplace, at schools, at every level भी हमें एक बहुत ऐसा एक माहौल बनाना चाहिए जिसमें दिव्यांग जो है they feel literally, they feel that they are part of the society, that उनका contribution means something, and they do. I mean, देखा जाए तो economically also, that's a big segment जो अभी अगर it's not part of the workforce, but imagine if they become part, so it helps the economy also. In so many ways, I would say it's I would say necessity that we make I would say a better society for everyone. And of course, it's it's not that see I can speak for the Divyang that we don't seek pity. Unfortunately problem ये है कि सबसे पहले जब हम किसी दिव्यांग को देखते हैं तो हमारे मन में जो एक भावना आती है वो बेचारा लाचार that kind of a feeling. And I think that's the worst thing one can do. Because अगर आप किसी को आप ऐसा महसूस कराएंगे ना तो वो एक्चुअली वही सेल्फ फुलफिलिंग प्रोफेसी वाली बात है कि उसको अगर आप लाचार बेचारा बोलोगे तो वो लाचार बेचारा ही बन जाए. So what we need is just to create an environment where they are able to use their voice, they're able to participate, say, in the decision-making process, and actually feel like one. So, now at the end, I'd just like to share that I am the chairman of an NGO that I've established in 2015, which predominantly works in this field. We are trying to, work as a medium between the administration and different यहाँ पे schools हैं, जो special schools हैं, plus और भी जो दिव्यांग हैं, and trying to, help in several, I mean, whatever way we can, whether it's skill development, whether it's vocational training. So, I mean, again, as I said, the purpose of the NGO is to bridge that gap. I mean, I'm that if I can do that, I will feel that I've been very successful. So I guess in the end, I would just like to share say a motto of you can say that we have adopted in our NGO. मतलब मैं उसको आपसे share करना चाहूँगा. It's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. He was a very eminent writer, speaker. तो उनका एक quote है. So I just like to share that in the end with you, and then we can take whatever questions you have. So it goes that, to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and affection of children, to learn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breath easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. I mean, this I think pretty much epitomizes whatever my philosophy is, because what is success? I guess we'll not talk about that, because success has many definitions. So I think we need to figure out, हमारे लिए कौन सी सबसे best, suitable है. And I think this quote, I think very, 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 I think clearly says that. So thank you so much for giving me the time, and itna आप लोग ने patiently listen to my talk. And again, I feel very honored to be the 100th speaker. And I thank, of course, Khanna Saab for giving me this opportunity, and of course, the entire fraternity of Bank for giving me this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being here with us. And honestly, as I said earlier, it is really an honor to have you. And the way you have, had your journey, and the way you've taken this in stride, that yes, no matter what, I have to keep moving towards my goal. And I really like that point of inclusion, because then it becomes much bigger than yourself. And that is what, in our limited way, we're trying to do, build at Bank as well. We truly follow that mantra, sabka saath, sabka vikas. Now, not related to any political party, but yes, if all of us come together and sabka prayas, sabka vishwas, so we can all become better version of ourselves, and that is what we're trying to do. So I'd love to have, a few questions, everybody. Before we do that, you can think of that. I just wanted to play that video. In fact, we circulated one of them, but Sudeep also wanted to see. So Ayushi, if you can play that video, and then in the meantime, we can ask, raise the hands, and we can ask a couple of questions as well. We have a few minutes. Yeah, please share the screen.
Okay.
We can't hear anything, Ayushi, if there is some music or sound in the background.
Now? No audio?
No audio, yeah, not yet. Yeah, it's very
music is there.
Ayushi ji, may I make a request? No, I think you have that will type or video have will, WIL wala jo will hai. In case, is it possible to play that? That was kind of made by me and my friend, so it's I think it covers. So is it possible to play that one?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. So should I play that or the next one?
I mean, if you don't mind. I mean, I feel very nostalgic. मेरे को video देख के बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
Ayushi, let me play that. आप इसको remove कर दो. I'll play that. Yeah.
मैंने आपको 3 शेयर किए तो उसमें एक will के नाम से था.
हाँ जी sir.
Yes.
Actually, उसमें हमारे जो एक friend है, he's basically Austrian, and he was again one of those people who really kept motivating me to do a lot of things, including aero modeling. He insisted that I should get into aero modeling.
Is this sir?
Yeah. Great. Well, it's been about a little over a year now. I mean, it's been what? I bought my car on 15th of May, 2015. So it's just been a little over a year, and I don't know. I don't, whenever I look back and I just think it's been only a year, but it doesn't seem that way. It seems like I've been driving for so long.
What do you think about going to Leh? Like, do you think is that as like some big challenges on the way?
Let's do it. I mean, I love.
You can unmute. Yeah.
would be for us a little more thrilling. Experience also, we'll have a little concern as to how he's managing, but I think we're very confident that he'll do very well.
Life is a tightrope, and everything below it is a dark space called fear. On either side, I see other people looking at their own tightropes and the space below. Some were already walking and balancing as carefully as they could. Some were able to run, but most people had the perception that their tightrope stretched on into infinity. It's been a while since I took that first step when I was 7 years old, and there's no looking down nor back. Because much like yourself, I too take my steps on this tightrope, one day at a time.
Wow, wonderful, brilliant. So well made, sir. I think, yeah, guys, Sudeep, you wanted to say something and ask any questions, so we have still 5-7 minutes. So,
Preeti, before we do that, can we have a huge round of applause for Vikramji?
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very inspiring, sir. We were right. It's right. Throughout there, I could find your pics, which is smiling. Right. We as at audience, many of us, I am sure, have broken down. So it was very inspiring.
Namaskar, Sanjeev ji.
Thank you.
Yes. I don't know. I think. Sorry.
Yeah, Jen sir, you wanted to ask anything?
सर मैं विक्रम जी को बहुत बहुत थैंक यू कहना चाहूंगा. गूज़बम्स होगा ये देख के, और जब एक सेक्रेटरी होती है तो दोबारा एनर्जी की जरूरत होती है. वो मुझे लगता है आज पूरे बैंक को मिल गई है 100th मीटिंग के अंदर ये.
थैंक यू जय सर, थैंक यू.
हाँ जी नीना जी प्लीज.
एक्चुअली मेरे पास कोई शब्द नहीं है विक्रम, बिल्कुल भी कोई शब्द नहीं है. बट one thing I think which is very important, what all you said was every word of it is something that we need to take back and we talk of. But कितने अपनी जिंदगी में actually apply करते हैं वो मुझे नहीं पता. But you are an epitome and a true living example of everything from hope to inclusivity. जैसे आपने कहा कि आपके परिवार का, you know, your parents had a very major role to play. Now that is exactly what I always say, that एक लाइफ कैसे बनती है या बिगड़ती है वो दो लोग बहुत important है उसकी जिंदगी में. पहले माँ बाप और उसके टीचर. ठीक है, ये दो अगर आपकी तो आपकी जिंदगी के ना बड़ी सबसे बड़ी ब्लेसिंग वो थे. So that is what my I mean, you are further validating it. कि अगर एक पेरेंट्स इतना लेवल तक एक इंसान की जिंदगी को ले जा सकते हैं, तो can you see what all can our society do? So and I would stop at that. And I really salute not only you, Vikram, but your parents, because it is only because of your parents that you are what you are today.
I can't go enough, but I can't. Unfortunately, I lost my mother. 2020 में अभी 3 साल पहले. She underwent some surgery और उनको कुछ septicemia infection हो गया, and she passed away within 3 days. So that was a huge loss personally for me, because she was literally my friend, philosopher, guide. But she was always there, even at this age, you know, even at the age of 49, and she was 71, but she was still, you can say, my best friend, and you know, so it was a huge loss. but no doubt.